Welcome back to Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Thanks again for joining us. We are joined today by Steve Bradford. He's a member of the California State Assembly. Sir, I want to talk to you about the budget. The members of the Democratic caucus were able to come together and get a budget passed. Part of the budget relies upon a surge in revenues that have been coming in over the last few months. But as you may know, the comptroller recently said that revenues came in about $500 million below what they had hoped. And if that continues, we're going to have automatic cuts triggered come 2012.
Yes.
Are you concerned about that?
Very much so. I mean, hopefully the comptroller's estimations and these numbers are wrong, and that I should say his projections, and hopefully the numbers will trend in the right direction. That was one of the concerns that the Democratic caucus had, and passing a budget with triggers. As you know, we passed the budget on June 15th. That was on time. That
First time in a long time.
We felt was very much balanced. Had realistic projections on revenues. We had anticipated only $2 billion more. The second budget had $4 billion, and $2 billion of those are tied to those triggers that we're now watching to make sure that it doesn't impact education.
Part of the challenge that you had on the Democratic side is the Republican Party refused to consider any increased revenues. As part of the federal debate dealing with the debt and the debt ceiling, Grover Norquist, who's a big anti-tax advocate, has said that he will consider the closing of loopholes as still complying with the No New Tax Pledge, loopholes that may protect corporations. Do you think that provides an opening here in Sacramento?
Hopefully. I mean, what you saw in Washington, D.C. is just a microcosm, or I should say a bigger macrocosm
Right.
of what we deal with in Sacramento, where we still have our Republican colleagues seeing no new revenues, all cuts. But when we put up $19 billion worth of cuts, they still weren't satisfied, and we couldn't get one Republican to cast a vote. So we gave you $19 billion worth of cuts, many in the areas that they asked for, and then they still wouldn't cast a vote for it. So we're hoping, you know, we can find some common ground where we can look at some of the closing some of the corporate loopholes and help revenue streams here in California.
As you know, prisons have become very controversial in our state as a result of a United States Supreme Court decision which said our prisons were run in an inhumane way, which is quite stunning, and they are requiring that certain prisoners be released. Counties are taking over. You have a bill, though, that deals with lower level offenders and how they're treated once they are rehabilitated and they, you know, stand on the right side of the law. Talk to me about your bill.
It's my expungement bill, and I ran a similar bill last year, and this bill simply gives a judge a discretion to expunge a misdemeanor conviction that led to jail time. Currently, a judge can expunge any misdemeanor conviction that only led to probation, but now it gives him the opportunity, or she the opportunity, to expunge that individuals who, once they've been released and been a good citizen.
Why is that important?
Because this is one of the major impediments we find to employment. And when you have California, the leading state in the nation with recidivism at over 70%, that speaks volumes to the fact that these folks are committing crimes. And when we talk to most of these folks, it says, I can't find a job. And if I can't find a job, I'm going to go back to what I know, and that's committing crime.
I have to tell you, I've heard that time and time again. People are getting straight and sober. They're doing the hard work, but they have a felony drug conviction. They can't find a job. Can anything be done? Can you in the governmental community work with the private sector to try to convince these folks that these people are on the straight and narrow and we need to help rehabilitate them, bring them back to society?
We're trying, and we're trying to get that, you know, blend between, you know, the business community and us in the social community to say, hey, these are contributing members to our society, and if we don't bring them back, if we don't believe in second chances, rehabilitation, they're going to go back to what they know.
Steve Bradford, thanks for joining us. He's a member of the California State Assembly. My name is Brad Pomerance. Of course, if you'd like to watch more editions of Local Edition, all you need to do is sign on to our video on demand channel, #1, and then go to Local, and then My Government. Thank you for watching. We're going to send you back to HLN.